Everything's changing in PR these days. So, now what? Today we're discussing how to make the most out of events with intention. From TED Talks to focus meetups, we're sharing strategies for choosing and attending the industry gatherings that deliver real value. Today, there's so many types of events. There's large conferences like CES and RSA to intimate dinners with industry experts and colleagues. And really, the important thing is you have to identify what your goal and what your
Yeah.
purpose is to get the most value out of the events you're attending.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I bet with resources the way they are these days, that clients are really looking for quality of events versus quantity of events that tie into their organizational goals, right?
Exactly. Once you know your purpose, it's about mapping events to that purpose. So, understanding what the event landscape looks like, what opportunities are there for you to be face to face with the right audience, and what themes allow you to showcase your company's story. Picking the right event, big or small, there's a couple factors that play into it. It could be location. How far are you willing to travel? It could be what spokespeople do you have available? Is it going to be your CEO or founder attending every event? Or do you want to attend more focused professional development conferences for your CFO or your chief people officer?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I bet it also has a lot to do with the growth stage that organizations are in. I mean, if you're ready to launch a product and have the budget, the larger, flashier events at CES or RSA or South by Southwest might make a lot of sense. But if you're an earlier stage startup and really starting to build that brand awareness and making new connections and networking are really your priority, then sometimes the smaller, more intimate tech week style events are a smarter play. How far in advance do you think clients should be thinking about planning when they're looking at sponsoring, speaking, or exhibiting?
My advice for event preparation, the earlier the better. These days, as soon as a conference is over, they've already announced dates for next year. So this year you attended, you got a lay of the land, you saw who was there, and next year you decide to jump on it and exhibit or speak. So pencil that date in now and start planning. For big conferences, I would say 12 months is a good time to start. As soon as those dates are announced, lock that in and get a plan going. For smaller events or tech weeks, it could be up to 6 months in advance.
The other thing that occurs to me as well when we're talking about events is it isn't always about getting out there and having a splashy booth or making sure that you're the core sponsor. Attending events is really important as well, not only if you're thinking about exhibiting later on, but also just to show up and make new connections and network. Maybe even do some professional development. And you can often start planning those with as little as 6 to 8 weeks advance notice if you're planning just to be a participant in the different sessions.
And even if you're not attending a specific conference, there's so many events that happen around conferences, like networking dinners or happy hours. Penciling in those events in 6 to 8 weeks is definitely something you can do.
Yeah, that's really great advice. I think associations also have a lot of events throughout the year, whether you belong to small VC groups or industry or AI groups, things like that. The associations will often have opportunities for smaller, more intimate networking possibilities.
Yeah, exactly. I will say if you are wanting to speak at one of those larger conferences, those applications typically open up around 6 months out. So, for example, the Digital Health Conference Vive opened applications mid August, and the conference is late February 2026. So, you'll want to bake in some extra time if that's what your objective is.
There are two things when I go to events that I wish people had done before in preparation and getting ready for a particular event that they're speaking at. The first one is knowing your audience. Who are you speaking to? More often than not, I find myself when I'm at events listening to a panel discussion that maybe is just slightly off topic, or there's one panelist that you could tell was maybe last minute or didn't prepare and really kind of throws off the whole vibe of the event. And the second part of that is if you're going to have a deck or visual aids, make sure you've had a creative look at them before you roll that out or take that to an event with you. Most of the time, most of the slides I see are just chock full of words. And when you're trying to engage and listen to a speaker, but also capture what they have on the screen, and it's just tons of words, you're really not taking home what they're intending for you to do. So I would say preparation and a streamlined visual element that's actually helping aid your message as opposed to take away from it. What are the benefits of partnering with an agency to help in this process?
I think there's three top benefits when partnering with an agency such as Sterling for successful event participation. And those three benefits are: one, we help you figure out which events actually map to your goals, so building out that calendar for the year. Two, we take a lot of the heavy lifting off of your plate so you can focus on being present at those events and making connections. And three, we ensure the impact does not stop when the event is over. We're amplifying it through content and media relations designed to strengthen your message.
That sounds like a lot of work and a lot of benefits, but what does that actually mean? Like, how does that actually work in practice?
In practice, we're building out your event calendar for the year. We're tracking those deadlines for speaking opportunities, creating submissions that put your best foot forward and get your message out there, really honing in on those opportunities that will be most beneficial for you and your business.
Tell me a little bit more about what it looks like to do media relations around event participation. How are those two connected?
It's about making connections and having a story to tell. So, for example, with one client, we secured them an interview with a publication, and the editor and our client really hit it off. Months later, we reach back out. Client had a great time, really hit it off with you. We see this event's coming up in a couple months. Just want to let you know if you need any help, they'd be more than happy to help out with anything they can. And what that resulted in was an invitation to moderate a panel on behalf of this publication at a top tier healthcare conference that put him on the same stage as those people he was trying to network with. As an agency, we're thinking about the whole strategy. An event is one moment in time, but how do you take that moment to have results in the future and continue to foster those relationships, build relationships with reporters, with customers, prospects? We're sharing photos across your social media channels to continue the conversation and connecting with those that were there. And maybe there was someone you missed and couldn't get on the calendar, but just keeping the conversations going and ensuring that your strategy lasts longer than just that one event.
Wow. I think between the two of us, we could talk about events and planning all day long. But in the spirit of time and for our viewers, what's one last thought you'd like to leave?
A strong event strategy starts with clarity. So focus on the events where your story, your audience, and your goals align. Now's the time to get those pieces into place so you can make an impact. Final tip: wear comfortable shoes. It's obvious who's in pain all day. Just ensure you're comfortable and you'll thank yourself later.
Well, one of my favorite things about living and working in Hawaii is that I get to wear slippers to conferences.
I wish.